everyone would see these three things oozing through your body like an infection, because everybody has them. Everybody wants, everybody gets angry and, freaks out. And all of us are really stupid, really stupid. When you think of some creator somewhere says, hey, look, I'll build this planet and I'll stick it right now. I'll make it the nicest place in the universe. And, they have mountains and rivers and lakes and streams and birds. I'll make it really neat. I'll make funny looking things like giraffes and hippopotamus. They can have a lot of fun. And we destroy it, and we use it to launch missiles at one another. It's stupid. Just absolutely stupid. But those are the three poisons. So what Buddha said you must do, and this is something we'll be getting into as we go along in these teachings. He said you must chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. Okay, whoops. That should be KYO, just believe it is, all right? And basically, and as we'll go into it later, what that means is reverence for the invisible within you, or the spirit which manifests itself in the physical. And to understand the law of cause and effect, that nothing you are doing now happens by itself. Everything that you do is because somebody placed a cause within you, and it is now having its effect. Nothing happens without a cause. If you're miserable, something happened to cause you to be miserable. If you have if you have a violent temper, there's a reason that you do. And he said, once you understand the cause and effect, then you can deal with it. See, that's what's like the people that wrote on our building, that's all over the door, they had spray paint, Satan pit, this is the devil's den and all. I mean, it's a strange, we don't even believe in that stuff, And this here is what Buddha was saying, that's what gets you in trouble, because then you pass your problems on to some, imaginary figure somewhere, and you never look within yourself and find out where it really comes from. What is the cause because of the effect? And it's what comes out under the lips that manifests itself from God. So he says, if you begin to understand this and chant that, because you see, your mind does not understand necessarily only English. It's a universal thing. So as your mind starts to plug in this, that you are looking for the invisible or the spirit within you to manifest itself within you, you realize the law of cause and effect and God. Then as you begin to do that, he says, then you can meet the poisons head on. See? But basically, what Shakyamuni Buddha taught is that we are self-poisoning ourselves. We play the part in poisoning ourselves. See what happens, for instance, your anger. Many of us have terrible anger, and it constantly seeds within ourselves, in our mind. These things speak to us. And if you'll notice something, it's very interesting. When you are with people, you're not angry. You're not. If you have somebody to dump on or talk to, you're not angry. If you have somebody over to your house, you listen to records or you watch TV or something, it's fine. Only when you're alone does it start again. When you're alone, that starts within you and starts to create a fire within you, and you get ticked off. Really, and basically that's what Shakyamuni taught. That being with people, it's fine. And the reason he says this has happened is this. What has happened is the anger and the fear and the hate and the guilt which has been placed in you by others since the time as a child or a previous life, we have pushed those things so far deep down into the unconscious that when other people are around us, we can't hear it. But when we're by ourselves and alone, we can hear the screaming from the cellar.
Jackpot, baby! You were in a car accident. It was not your fault. And you could be...
Okay? It's because it is so deeply ingrained and rooted in our nature that it is deep down, and when other people are around us, we can't hear. You can go out to a restaurant and you can be fine. You can drop the person off you're with, or they drop you off. You get home alone and you're in a rage within yourself. You're frightened, you're angry, you're guilty, and all of these types of things. Because when you're with others, they distract you from it. But when you're with alone, you hear what's coming out of the subconscious, and basically it's not good. Okay? This is from a man that we've been taught to avoid. This is from a man who taught this to us 1,000 years before Jesus Christ was born, trying to teach people how to overcome suffering. And if you walk into many of the churches, or if you try to talk to the people who sprayed the paint on the wall, oh, this is evil. This is evil. And yet they are suffering from the very things that he says. Somebody has to come lurking in the dark of night, spray something on, and run like blazes in Jesus' name, to do damage. Because there's something within them. They're filled deep within themselves with this hurt and this screaming. If you have a Bible, and you do, because there's none of them left on the tables back there, that means we have to order, okay? Matthew chapter 8 on page 8. Matthew chapter 8. This is summed up beautifully right here, okay? What happens to you? You get into a situation where, somebody comes, you're fine, everything is great, but by yourself, these things which are rooted in your subconscious are tormenting you. You lay in bed and they come in. You sit by yourself, you're watching television, and you'll start to get these thoughts in your head, and it never leaves you alone. And generally, it always has something back with something when you were a child, because the child who is within you is the one who's been hurt. The child who is within you has been hurt by somebody, sometime. See, we have a lovely young lady who comes here who is about to have a child. What a lucky, beautiful child that is, because that child who has not even seen the light of day, I know because of its mother, will never have to undergo the fear, the hurt, and the guilt of devils and demons and all of that stuff. It will be raised with the love of God, with the love of Jesus, with the love of nature. I'm talking about Kimberly, and she just looks magnificently beautiful. When's it due? Oh, okay. That'll be great. But you see, what I'm saying is, she is not going to place into that child's head these guilts and negative things that are then going to fester down into the roots, which can cause a very difficult life. So many of you can look back at what has been put in your head, even by your parents. And these things have festered out now and have got you trapped. John Bradshaw, I remember when John Bradshaw said one time, he said, screaming at a child can cause a change in the electromagnetic fields of that child's brain, and that child can be in trouble for the rest of its life. Just screaming at a child can do that. We don't understand these things because we have not listened to the people that God sent. How many of you have to be true about this. How many have ever listened to Shakyamuni Buddha before you came to this room? Never, ever, ever. Yet God sent him to teach us how to overcome suffering. He was part of the umbilical cord of Krishna and Jesus and Buddha. Krishna came down to show us the spirit realms of the mind. Buddha came down to show us how to live with our mind. Jesus came down, take it to us as Lord, and gave us the directions of how to use all of this God-giving thing. But anyhow, on page 8, Matthew chapter 8, and verse 28, what happens here is that Jesus comes into the other side of the country in Gergenes, and he met two possessed with devils coming out of the tombs. And they cried out, "What do you have to do with us?" Verse 29. And it was a good way off swine. So the 31, the devil sought him, "Suffer us to go away into the herd." And in verse 32, "Go." And they went into the herd of swine. What that's talking about is not Jesus coming into a graveyard and two people running out of the tombs and then devils jumping out of them and jumping into pigs and the pigs jumping over the moon and all of this stuff. This is all parable. This is symbol. This is heavy, mystical, spiritual stuff you read here. But do you know, 99% of the people who read that believe that two guys come out of the tombs and the devils jumped into the pigs. What the heck did they do to anybody? The pigs jumped over the moon, and that's the end of that. For what? What did the pigs do? I mean, in the first place, you got Jesus destroying property. These pigs didn't belong to him. Well, they belong to him. And what are you going to drive a pig? Can you imagine a beautiful pig? All he wants to do, hey, I love the mud. I love the slop. Let's slop around. Hey, this is great. Oink, oink. What does he want with our troubles? They don't need our troubles. See? What I'm saying to you is the animal kingdom does not need to be soiled with this kind of stuff. This is mysticism. What it is saying is the graveyard is your mind. The tombs of the subconscious. And the things that I'm talking about are lurking in the subconscious. When the beautiful Lord Jesus Christ comes with his teachings and light into the graveyard of your mind, he brings out of you, out of the tombs of the subconscious, those fears and those guilts and those hurts. And once they're brought into the light, then they can be driven out and they're driven back into the lowest pits of the earth, which is symbolized by the sun. Wait a minute now. You can't just be, there's people. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now, there's people watching. Oh, she hates to be outside.
Yeah, but I'm so cool. uncomfortable. I just wanted to say that pigs, of the animal kingdom, are supposed to have the highest intelligence. So God can be talking about our intelligence too, doing that to us.
Good. That's a good. Hey, you know what? She just said something here. Let me just go away for a second and change it. I want to share you something. The last 3 days, I was at a conference for my work, and it's conducted by a psychologist, Dr. Rich Petrino, and he teaches a lot of this stuff, how to get along with people from a practical standpoint and so forth. And he did something which I want to share with you because it's really, really interesting. And ring a bell, and I wrote it down. I'm veering away from the subject for a minute, but this is good, and I don't want to forget about it. And you might want to write this down. He was telling us about becoming one with other people, experiencing other people to the fullest. And he said, there is a method in psychology called Harage, Harage, and it's Japanese. Okay, it was formed by a Japanese psychologist. Harage means getting into another person's stomach. And what rang a bell with me instantly? Jesus Christ said, you must eat my flesh and drink my blood. He must get into your stomach, because the ancient Eastern philosophy is that you become one with another person when you can get into their stomach. Is that interesting? Isn't that good? So there you find the roots of Jesus saying you must eat my flesh and drink my blood comes from an ancient Eastern philosophical or psychological precept, in which they called it getting in. You might say, hey, you're really getting him on my nerves, or he's really getting in my skin, getting under my skin. They said you must get into another person's stomach in order to be one with that person and to work with that person in a harmonious way. And Jesus is saying, I've got to get into your stomach, and that way you must eat my flesh and drink my blood. Harage, which is Japanese. Isn't that good? Well, I just wanted to throw that at you because what Joan and Joni were talking about the swine and what these things symbolize, and how it can be used. So there, then, when you look back to what Buddha was talking about, understand, think for just a moment while you're sitting here, okay? And many of you don't even have to think, because while you're sitting here, you're hearing those things talk to you. You've already been in communication. Since you've come in and sat down in this room, you've been in communication with these things. You got to do this, you got to do that, I got to do the other thing, I got to do the for what? Sometimes you have people come into meditation and they'll be here about 10 minutes. They got to get up. They got to leave. Why? Where are they going? What in God's name is there out there that is going to, for what? Where are you going to go? And they're going to get up and they're going to walk up the stairs, and then they're going to look out in front and look for something to do. You know why it is? You can't sit still with yourself. You bore yourself. You are absolutely bored with being by yourself. You can't deal with it. And then you wonder why nobody likes you.
Hello.
Do you want to play with me?
Sure. You want me to help you with your groceries? This journey with childhood cancer comes at you in waves. Every day we wake up knowing that our 2-year-old has cancer. It's tough to get through.
The tumor is about the size of a baseball. I believe in the power of hope. And from the very first visit here at St. Jude, it was about hope and love, because you go in expecting the worst.
You can join the battle to save lives by supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Every gift counts, and whatever you can give will make a difference. Make your donation today to help St. Jude save lives.
Just by walking inside the doors of St. Jude, I instantly felt hope for my son.
With a gift right now, you can help save lives. Please become a St. Jude Partner in Hope today. Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus on helping their child live.
For these children to go through what they're going through during this time, and for the supporters to be right there, that means the world. Thank you. It's not enough thank yous.
Join with your credit or debit card for only $19 a month, and we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt you can proudly wear to show your support.
As a mom, you just want to protect them and be there to watch her grow up, because we don't really know what the future holds. And I think that no family should have to be worried about that.
You can make a difference. Become a Partner in Hope today. Please Donate now.
If you were in a crash, do not sign anything from the insurance company yet.
Look what came in today, $72,000. You heard that right? That's literally life-changing money for me. All I know, I was injured in an accident that was not my fault, and I had insurance when it happened. So if that sounds like your situation, let me show you exactly what I did.
People all over the country have already received checks for tens of thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. And they did it without going to court. That's because there is money already set aside for accidents like these. If you're even a little curious about what your accident could be worth, click the link and check. Most people think whatever the insurance company offers me is all I can get. That's not true. That is what Jessica thought too. The insurance company told her her injuries weren't worth much, even though her medical bills kept going up. Then she found auto relief assistance, and she ended up getting 5 times more than what the insurance company first offered. Her final settlement was $72,000.
I clicked on this site, I answered a few quick questions, and requested a free case evaluation. After I submitted, literally within 2 minutes, I was called by a case analyst in my area.
To see if your accident qualifies, click the link below and answer the 5 questions. Now, some people feel uncomfortable doing this. They don't want to cause problems. They worry it feels greedy. But this isn't about greed. If the accident wasn't your fault, you shouldn't be paying for it. Insurance companies will keep the money if you don't speak up. You have the right to see what you're owed. For example, Stacy didn't think her accident was a big deal, but after checking, she ended up receiving $90,000.
Oh my God.
Now imagine what that money could do for you. $10,000, $50,000, or even $100,000. Bills paid, a safer car, less stress. That's what this is really about. If you're even a little curious about what your accident could be worth, click the link and check. Here's what happens next. After you answer the questions, within minutes, an accident analyst in your local area will call you directly to review your accident. They will determine right then and there if you have a case. And if you do, they handle everything for you. No chasing paperwork, no arguing with insurance companies, no out-of-pocket costs. You just sit back and wait to get paid. One last thing you should know, there is a time limit on accident claims. In many cases, you only have about 12 months from the accident to take action. After that, the chance is gone. No reminders, no warnings. The insurance company keeps the money. So if your accident happened within the last year, don't wait. Click the link, answer 5 simple questions, and see what your case could be worth while you still can.
Who wants to hang around? If you can't hang around with yourself, who the heck else wants to hang around? I don't want to hang around with myself. I've been sitting with myself for 10 minutes. That's all I can take. I'm getting out of here. I got to find somebody to yell at or yell at me. I'm going to get into the system. That's basically the problem. And that's one of the first things I learned in meditation. I remember, I guess it was Joel Goldsmith was talking about. He says, you want to see how difficult we are as far as our lives are concerned, try to sit for 20 minutes by yourself. Just alone with yourself. Do nothing. And you'll get very bored and you'll quick, you got to find something to do. You got to go someplace. And yet if you were to run out of this, but where would you go? What would you do? What can't wait 30 minutes? You know, what is it? And that's the secret of your life. That's called time, which is Chronos, which is Saturn, which is Satan. Time. And time, Satan. Do you ever see Father Time in the New Year's thing? He uses the sickle to castrate God. In other words, time prevents God from placing his seed in you because you're so doggone, I gotta be here, I gotta be there, can't go there because I gotta be somewhere. What am I gonna do? I don't know, but I gotta do it. Where am I gonna go? I don't know. When are you gonna do it? I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I gotta do it. Where am I gonna get home? We go nowhere. Spinning our wheels. And basically what we live like, you know, one of those things they have in gerbils and pet shops that run around in the thing. Gotta hurry up. And I went, where'd you go? I didn't go anywhere. You're on a Ferris wheel of life. And the Ferris wheel takes you to the top. Oh, it's magnificent. But just remember, the Ferris wheel will bring you back right to the same place where you started. And you'll get off. And then you look around for something else to get into. But it's all the same thing. See, what Buddha Shakyamuni taught us is that anger is not just screaming. It's far worse. It's resentment. Huh? See what happens when you have resentment upstairs here? That you get so mad. You get so mad. You will not allow another person to disagree. See, you get so mad that it's a sin for another person not to agree with you. You're going to take action to prevent that. It's resentment, it's critical attitudes, and it's lack of respect. And that's why Jesus Christ says, physician, you've got to heal yourself. You're going to do something about it, because I got news for you. You're getting older. And in each day, each month, time begins to run. When are you going to correct it? Say, well, I don't know what to do. Yes, you do know what to do. You sit on the floor and you meditate. That's what you do. That'll correct it. That will correct it. That will correct the situation. That's the only thing you can do. But Buddhist philosophy is so beautiful, and this is what Shakyamuni Buddha said. If you're angry, your anger is spilling into you and it's poisoning you. And it's hurting your physical existence. It's the kind of thing that gives you disease, makes you sick. It's the kind of thing that disturbs your mind. It'll keep you from getting a good job. It'll keep you from having a happy relationship. It'll keep you from having nice children and all of the things. If you're having problems, which everybody does, he says what you have to do is expand your consciousness. And he says what you do is expand your consciousness in meditation for the happiness of other people.
We're in such a saturated market now where there's a million brands doing the same thing, but how can you stand out?
Shopify has helped me be more creative by allowing me the time to focus on the things that I'm passionate about. Even just like the data that we get, we're able to make decisions that move forward faster. It kind of feels like we're not designing in the dark anymore.
Shopify are constantly coming out with innovation, new apps, new ways to reach new markets, and that for us is a superpower.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is Base 44. This is a first look at the current industry-leading AI app builder, and you wouldn't believe the kind of apps that people are creating. Smart nutrition apps, inventory trackers, onboarding tools, you name it. And if the only thing stopping me from making the app is the idea, why not build an app that gives me endless app ideas? So let's make it. Pro tip, I draft the full app spec in ChatGPT, and then I drop the prompts directly into Base 44. It gives me super detailed structure. And here it is, everything I laid out in detail as it goes. This is pretty awesome, but I want to make it playful. So I'm going to add a swipe left and swipe right interface. The same usability we all know. Now I'm going to add one more feature. So every idea that I favorite will turn into a kickoff prompt to start building the app itself. And that's it. Just come up with your idea, any idea, and Base 44 will do the rest. So go to Base 44 and create apps with your name on it.
Meditate and visualize a person or another person that maybe you don't like, and visualize that person in a beautiful way and pour happiness towards that person. Because Shakyamuni said that will release the poison. Because if you're willing to meditate for the happiness of others, then you'll expand your consciousness to such an extent that you'll no longer be dominated by that greed and by that anger. And you'll be set free from it. Because your mind will do it, and all the electronics within your mind will start to change, and you'll start to feel differently. And it does work. It works. But you have to do it. But see, the easier way to do it is to hand tracts around and say these magic words and you're going to be saved, you know. Unfortunately, Jesus never said that. The Bible doesn't say that, and that does not work. That's not the way to do it. You've got to heal yourself, and you've got to do it through meditation. See, you expand yourself to the whole. In other words, look where, see, take your hands. You see what your whole, you know what your whole world is? Right here. How far is that across? What is it? 10 inches or something like that? That's your whole world is there. Everything is kept inside of this container, this jar that's sitting on the top of your shoulders. Inside the jar on the top of your shoulders is everything in your existence. One of the great meditations Edgar Cayce did, and it's an amazing thing, sometimes try it at the beach, is he says, meditate, cut your head off. And what you do is you pretend that you don't have a head. And like there's a board right across here. And all of a sudden, like, you're everything. Because the only thing that prevents you from being everything is the jar, the container that keeps you in here. Once you don't have a head, wow, like Joan said, down the beach, where Cocoa Beach one time, she tried the meditation. She said, I became the seagull. I said, great, we can fly home and it won't cost us anything. But she really did. I mean, when you're not in here anymore, then you are the seagull. Then you're one with everything. And you're one with the whole. So, remember I told you a long time ago, the little drop of dew coming out of the sky. A little insignificant drop of dew. That's what each one of us are. And we're coming down towards the ocean. And we say, oh, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to crash in the ocean and I'm going to die. But the little drop of dew crashes into the ocean and becomes the sea. Wow. Now I'm not something that'll just evaporate. I can make big ships go. I can carve out continents because I am one with everything. That's what Buddha was trying to say. Shakyamuni Buddha put it in a beautiful way. And he said, if you take a little drop of ink and put it in a glass, it makes all the water blue. This is our little glass, and the little drop of ink is every little trouble, every little irritant. But he said, if you take that same drop of ink and put it in the ocean, it disappears. Isn't that pretty? Do you see what he's saying? So when you come in and you meditate, you're coming into the whole, you're coming into the universe. And all of those little irritants then are like little drops of ink into the ocean. They mean nothing. It becomes beautiful, say. So you expand to that oneness, and you see that anger was used to keep people separated. You see, in the past, and that's what we've gone through in this new age, that same anger that was suddenly, now it's being redirected to bring people together. And it's going to be tough. There's a lot of people resenting it. I mean, you see what's happening now? The new phenomenon, racial bias, I mean, attacks on people all over the place. And this is part of it upstairs that we had. It's part of it. I was telling Dave, called me. Dave and I talked about it. I said, well, Dave, you being black, you understand it better than we do. I said, you've been subjected to it forever. But that's exactly the same thing. It's people that can't let go of these old ways, and there's something that is changing them. So what all of this is telling you, see, is that listening to Buddha is listening to Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ said, if your eye be single, your body will fill with light. The kingdom of God is within you. Meditating and chanting these things. You can go to a Christian church and say, talk in tongues. Well, go ahead. Now, myoho ringe kyo. Talk in tongues. It's easy to interpret. I have reverence for that which is the invisible spirit, which manifests itself. I understand that the causes that enter into me will produce the effects of my life, because Shakyamuni Buddha said, if you want to know what your life was like in the past, take a look at what your life is like now. And if you want to know what your life is going to be like in the future, take a look at what your life is now. And if it's not what you like it to be, change it through the power of that inner spirit. I don't think I've ever read or studied a more, we talk about Carl Jung. I think Carl Jung would get a run for his money by Shakyamuni Buddha, who never went to college. He was a magnificent person. And he taught of disciplining yourself and redesigning your conscious psyche. And your energies, which are consumed with the survival of self, will start to change and be consumed with the survival of nature, the love of nature, the oneness with nature. Chanting, meditating, inner communion, new ways to solve old problems, new ways to understand Jesus Christ. That beautiful thing that comes to you from within. But here, then, what Buddha is teaching us is if anger is dominant, if greed is dominant, then there is a beautiful way. There's a beautiful way to leave Egypt. Let me tell you something. You read about the Jews leaving Egypt, right? Oh, they come out of Egypt 400,000 strong, and they got to the Red Sea, and the Red Sea parted, and they crossed over to the Promised Land, and all of this business, which there's no record. That means nothing to you. It doesn't mean anything to you because the bill collector's coming. It means nothing to you because the doctor's got your biopsy report. It means nothing to you because your kid didn't call last night. You don't know where they are. It means nothing to you because you got all kinds of problems. It means nothing to you because you can't find a job. It means nothing to you because you can't pay your bills. It means nothing to you because all of the things that are pounded upon your head, you could care less if Moses crossed the Red Sea and a PT boat. What do you care? What's it going to do for you? But when you understand what it means, when you understand that Egypt is the lower carnal mind, And when you understand that you can force Pharaoh to let you go by allowing that Spirit of God to take over you, and you cross the desert of meditation, you come to the Red Sea of your churning emotions, and when your emotions try to drive you back, and all of your thoughts are bearing down on you to grab you by the neck and drive you back to the hell that you had, and you look up to that higher dwelling place of Christ within you, and that sea opens, and you can cross that which is the carnal mind into that which is the holy promised land of the right side. When you understand that, then you're set free. Then you understand Exodus. Exodus has nothing to do with a bunch of people running across the desert. It has to do with you escaping from the bondage of yourself and the freedom of the Christ who dwells within you.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? If so, you need to stop now. And
Wasn't bad. And it's true. It's true. When those things are said like I just said them, I didn't say it. When those things are said like I just said, that is channeled by Christ himself, screaming to you to get it through your head with this. Usually I stutter and stumble when it comes through, and it flows like that. I know where it's from. Because the God who has created you loves you. The Christ who gave his blood for you wants you to know the truth, that you're special. You're beautiful. You're the light of the world. The kingdom of God has been placed within you. Now let it out. Let it fly. Let that dove fly. Let it be good. It was a story that I loved about the church that, or the people or the universe that took the little dove, because the dove was always the Spirit, would spread his wings and would stop from each person to person and give you the life and give you the truth of who you. You're such beautiful people. You're so great. I get to know each one of you, and I get so hurt by all of us who have been at so many troubles by this system and the guilt and the fear and all of this stuff, just like this crap up on the front of the book, of all of this, which misunderstanding Jesus Christ, and misunderstanding God. And they said they took this dove and they wanted to honor it because it was the Holy Spirit, and they put it in a cage to give it a house. And they said, boy, the dove is beautiful. Let's make a bigger cage. And the cage got bigger and bigger, and they put jewels on it. They put stained glass on it. And pretty soon the cage was more important than the dove. And they couldn't find it. And somebody remembered someday, where the heck is the dove? And they looked at the bottom of the cage, and the dove was dead. That's what's happened. Spirit doesn't mean anything. It's the system that means everything. System. And I guess maybe that's why I'm such a revolutionary, because I see so many of you that are hurt. If I could do something, if I could give you all a job, those of you that are looking or hurt, I would. And I see what the system has done. And the reason that you're hurt is because the system has held you down. The system, in concert with the government and with religion, has convinced you that you can't do it, you can't make it. And where are they? Where are they? Nowhere. When people are trying so hard. It has to be a new time. So when I look at that newspaper thing of Bradley saying, I'm going to start thinking not only with my brain, he's a Rhodes Scholar from Princeton, I'm going to start thinking with my heart. I'm going to start thinking with intuition. You know what it means to think with intuition? You know what that guy said? Sing a lot. You know, that's what it is. It's the divine instinct inside. He's going to start thinking with that. He may not even know what he said. But God knows, because somebody has touched him somewhere, somehow, within or without. He's been touched, and he's starting to unravel himself from his intellectualism. In other words, he has moved from the west to the east. That is something to chant, God, thank God for that, because if you have people of that leadership quality who can all of a sudden say, there's more than my intellect, there's more than Princeton, there's something inside of me. The man said, he's a Rhodes Scholar. He says, I've got to start talking not just from my intellect, I got to start talking from my instinct. Not only just what I know, but how I feel. Do you understand what that means? That's the new age. And I'll fight like hell to make that happen. And I am not afraid, and I hope you won't be afraid of anybody that would come right here. And anybody can say to you, this is, you know what it says in this stupid thing? You know what it says in this stupid thing? It says this new age is not the God of the Bible. How many of you got a Bible on your lap? You know where these, and you know where I found these things stuck? In the Bibles that were on the back table. When have you ever come in here that we did not open the Bible? Take any one of these churches, and I don't mean to knock churches, but I'll take anybody, anywhere, anybody. that taught every line in the book of Matthew, every line in the book of Revelation, most of the stories of the Old Testament. It's all here. Everything out of the Bible. And yet they say, oh, well, it's not the God of the Bible. We don't know who this is. Who wrote this? What do we know? What kind of a problem's this person got? You know? Oh, well, he wrote it, so we'll hand it out. It's not right. Let's wrap this up, okay? What we understand here is that the energy of anger and greed gives way to a passion to help other people, and that's what it'll do. And Buddha taught that the ego inflates to such a degree that all one is ever able to do. And now listen to what he said. Listen to what he said 1,000 years before Jesus. The ego gets to such a point that all one is able to do is blame the circumstances on somebody, even the devil. And Buddha said that's the cause of your suffering, because if you'll turn and look in here, you'll see there is a way out, and that the origin of this thing is because the infection has been placed within you, and you have to treat the infection within yourself. You cannot, and God, we have people here who have gone through such struggles in their health and with their bodies, and they'll be the first to tell you, you cannot treat that disorder by blaming it on somebody else. The doctor, and God bless them, and the nurses have to deal with it inside here. Those types of physical afflictions are just portrayers of those kind of mental and spiritual afflictions, but it's the same thing. That's why Jesus Christ said, physician, heal yourself. So the sad part is that because the inflated ego, one doesn't even have an inkling that I could be fundamentally responsible. Do you want to think of that? You go, could you think maybe I'm responsible? Okay. So now that's great. That doesn't put you on a guilt trip. It just says, if I know where the seat of the problem is, I'm going to go after it. I've been chasing around after a devil. Rebuke him and he will flee. You've been rebuking him for 40 years. He ain't fleed. He's all over you like fleas. He doesn't flee. Why? Because he's me. Who am I going to rebuke? Until I understand it's me. How do you rebuke him? Coming to Christ. How do you come to Christ? Raise your consciousness above. You rebuke the devil when you leave him. You come out of the cellar. He lives in the cellar. He lives in the tombs. He lives in the lower world. Don't you know what hell is? Hell is down below. What's down below? The carnal mind. Where is heaven? Up above. What's up above? The holy mind, the divine mind, the Christ mind. So you dwell upstairs instead of downstairs. So to get away from the devil, you go to the upper room, which is the higher mind, the higher consciousness. And you sit at the right hand. What the heck is so stupid about it? Why isn't that so easy for everybody? It's there. It's inside of you. Heaven is inside of you. Hell is inside of you. Depends what you want to let loose. It's just, remember, here you are. Here you are.
If you got hit, even if you were not driving, you need to try this.
People all over the country have already received checks for tens of thousands and sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars. For example, Stacy didn't think her accident was a big deal, but after checking, she ended up receiving $94,000.
Oh my God.
Most people think whatever the insurance company offers me is all I can get. That's not true. That's what Stacy thought too. The insurance company told her her injuries weren't worth much.
It doesn't cover at least half the cost of this. So what am I supposed to do? What am I paying for?
Even though her medical bills kept going up. Then she found auto relief assistance, and she ended up getting 5 times more than what the insurance company first offered.
Look what just came in today, $94,000.
Right? Right? There you are. Now, here comes the power. I'll make a different color. Here comes the power. This is the God power. Up there. Okay, same power, only one power. Only one power, right? You know what I'm saying to you? Jill, you paying attention? One power. I'm teasing her because she is. But the power that comes down, we give the name, that power that comes down to the lower is hell. We give the name to the power that comes to the higher is heaven. It's the same power. See? I mean, if you're swimming and you don't know how to get along in deep water, the water can become hell because it can kill you. If you know how to swim in it, I put a little tube around me so that way I, plop up and down, and the water makes you feel good. But it's the same water. You can't say the part of the water is the devil in the water because you drowned. No, there isn't. You don't know how to swim. You can't say, well, some of the guys come in there. Mike was in charge of putting the building up. All I can do this, and Mike would say, well, yeah, better not. Because you get somebody in here and say, I'll install the electricity for you. Next thing you know, there's fire engines out in front of the building. What happened? What happened to the building? Where'd it go? What? It wasn't that the electricity was the devil. The guy messing with it didn't know how to touch it. He made it the devil. But the same lights are heaven. So here comes the same power. There's not two powers. There's not a devil and God. There's only God. But if you don't know how to use God's power, you're going to get burned. But if you use God's power right, what happens? You turn everything upside down. Hey, see? No. Wait. Gotta be. Yeah. But that's what it is. It's just the one power. It's not two powers. So don't be afraid of a devil anymore, okay? Let's put that out of my... There is no devil. The devil is that power that we misuse. It's the one. That's why God says, I create good and create evil, because it depends how you use it, okay? If you use your car, how about if you can get in your car, can take you to California, can take you to Disneyland, you could go all over nice places. Or you could pull out of here and drive into a pole. It's the same car. The same car that took you to Disneyland is the same car that drove you into the pole. Oh, why? Because you didn't know how to use it. You screwed up. You were using it wrong. You did something wrong. You should see me when I do things around the house. I don't do them anymore. One time, there was a leak in the sink. There was a leak in a pipe under the sink. Okay? So I said, don't worry, wife. I'll fix it. I figure if there's a hole in the pipe, plug it up, right? So what did I do? I figured a hole is a little, so I'll take a nail, which is, and I did. And I put a nail in the hole. Well, what happened? You can't blame the pipe. You can say the pipe's the devil because water came all over the place. No, I misused the power. And I had water all over the place. So Joan, being the loyal wife that she is, ran to the phone to call her brother. I said, don't you dare tell him I couldn't get the nail out. No, he's under there. He's under there. And what's he saying under there? Who the hell put the nail in there? I said, I don't know. You can't trust anybody anymore. I said, don't you tell who put the nail. Well, you don't know what you're doing. You screw everything up. All I'm saying to you is get rid of this fear of devils and demons and understand there is only one power, and that one power is Almighty God, good power. There is only one Christ, and that is the Lord Jesus Christ. There is only, but you misuse their power, and you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hurt. You misuse the power. I can tell you of a lot of things I've done. What? Yes. Wait a minute. That's right. What's going on? Yes. There it is. Thank you. A prophecy. Shakyamuni. Stupidity. That's what exactly what he was talking about. Exactly what he was talking about. He said you have been told how to use the power and you've misused it and you got hurt. That's exactly what he was talking about. And you I can't even get out of that one. But look, let me go to the very last page. Because Emil raised it, and it's true. And it's what I'm talking to you about is stupidity. It is stupidity. Because have you ever done anything around the house, and then somebody said, well, why the heck didn't you call so-and-so? He could have... I don't know. Because you were stupid. I was stupid. When we misused the power. See? But now let me finish this with stupidity. I promise you it'll be a couple minutes. Jesus says, you can do what he did, okay? This, I'm telling you, I follow Jesus Christ to the letter. I do not say what he did not say. I do not do what he did not say to do. What he says to do, I do. What he says to say, I say. He said, look, Bill, you tell these people that they can do everything I did. They can do better than I did. I want you to believe that. It is stupid to take the words of Jesus Christ, who's handing you directions as how to be a powerhouse in life and overcome all of your sufferings, and say, I don't believe, I'm going to follow them. Okay? That's the problem. No, don't follow. Okay? It's so you pull away from that slander of your own life and pull yourself into understanding it's time to believe Jesus Christ. It's time to believe Buddha and realize that absolute happiness comes only from one place, and that it's within you. Okay? Now listen to this. I'm going to conclude. This is a statement made by Shakyamuni Buddha. Quote, he said, I will tell you this. Changing oneself is the single most difficult feat in the entire universe. Now, he knew, and you know too, because we all agree on this stuff, but you know doggone well, when you get home, it's going to be more of the same. Because it takes a lot of disciplining until you're willing to come down, hit the floor, get involved in it, and meditate your way above and beyond all of this junk that these people throw at you. You're going to continue to deal with it. And it is, as he said, the single most difficult thing. And he said too, don't be surprised that it does not come overnight. But it will come. It will come. I'm going to erase this so you don't get thinking that. See? Stupidity. And I'll put the eraser right back on the thing. Stupidity. Thank you for sharing this time with us. And